All right, we are going to go ahead and get started. We have a lot of ground to cover today. So again, thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to our Rentals Essentials webinar. This one I am super excited for with our dispatch management. I am Megan Davies. I'm the head of growth here at RUX Software. And today I'm joined by Darren Christopherson, who is going to do our demo for it. So before we get started, we're going to do a little bit of an about us in case you're new to RUX. I know we have a bunch of partners, a bunch of customers, and those of you that are joining us for the first time. But to give you a little bit of background, RUX, we are an ISV solution purpose-built for Business Central, and our main priority is to put people in control of their assets and finances. So we're really wanting to connect every dollar that you are attaining from those rental contracts and service contracts inside of Business Central, so you get the most revenue out of all of your assets. Right now, we currently have over 500 clients on a global scale across North America, Europe, Asia, and Australia. We have over 70 partners, and we service over 12 verticals, and those are high level. We service 40 plus at this point with those sub verticals underneath, primarily within the industrial asset space as well as commercial field service. So the big highlights are we are built on and for Business Central. We contain all of your assets and job management in one place, and we're giving everyone the visibility they need to succeed in their business. Like I said, we have a really packed schedule today. I'm really excited for this one because this dispatch management that we were talking about has been built alongside one of our customers. They came to us a few months ago. They said, hey, we really need dispatch to operate in this way. And our product team went and said, great, let's hear what your pain points are. Let's hear what you need from the system. And then our team went and built that directly into the system for them, which is going to help benefit all of our customers and those that are in the industrial equipment space. So today we'll go through all of the new features as well as the features that were already in there. So anything from archiving and delivery, we're going to be adding rental units, splitting up those loads and doing those bulk returns. So I will pass it over to Darren Christopherson. He is our product manager here at RUX. He's been here for over 20 years and he knows the industry inside and out. So without further ado, we'll hand it over to Darren for our demo.
Thanks, Megan.
Absolutely.
Okay, should be seeing my screen now. Okay, so this is the business manager role center, and we've got a bunch of things on the role center related to rentals, service, and dispatch. So with dispatch enabled, we see all of the queues and whatnot. That's in the role center. Now, I say this at the start of every demo I do. I'm using the business manager role center. Your users do not need to use this role center because this role center has basically access to absolutely everything, and in a demo it just works nicer. But clearly, your driver doesn't need this, or your guy in the warehouse doesn't need this. Okay, let's start with some of the setup. In rental management setup, we have a section for dispatch, and this is one of the new features that was added recently. It's auto archive deleted dispatch loads. The pain point that we heard is that, if I create a dispatch load and there's something wrong with it and I need to redo it, as soon as I delete it, it's gone. I can't refer back to it. So we've actually added the auto archive feature. And if I take a look, I've already auto archived one that was already created, and I'll redo this one in our demo today. So you can go back, refer to it. You cannot enable it because the reason why you delete it in the first place is something has changed. Okay, but you can always refer back to it and see what was on it originally. So some of the new things that we've added is the ability to add rental units and sales lines to open loads, be able to split a load, and then there's another enhancement if you have default blank return date enabled. So one of the pain points we found there was that the blank return date, if it was a partial return, the return date would remain populated when that would kind of mess up your future invoices. So if default blank return date is enabled, it will reset that to blank for the components still on red. Okay, so let's start. I've already dispatched those first three. I'm going to go into contract 9 and just take a look at what we have in here. So we've got a 1 whacker excavator, 1 generator, 10 leaf blowers, and a power wrench. If we go ahead and if everything's ready to be dispatched, I can release for delivery right here. It's going to automatically update everything. If I don't want everything to be dispatched, then I can manually set the dispatch statuses. So I'm going to set this to delivery. I'm going to set this to delivery, and I'll set that one to delivery. And then when I take a look at the planning worksheet, you'll see those 3 items in here. I can select all the 3 and say create, or I can just say calculate, and then loads per customer, and you'll see it's automatically added those 3 to a delivery load. Okay. Now, let's say they say, well, we want you to deliver those leaf blowers now as well. Okay. So from the open delivery, I can go into the functions and click add lines. Okay, so you'll see if it was already released, it would show in the upper section. Because I have not yet released those 10 leaf blowers, I would have to click the set delivery action. You'll see it's automatically transfers into the other section of this page, and now I can add that to the load. Okay, now we close it. There's my 10 leaf blowers on the same load for the rest of the deliveries. Okay. Now, if I decide that this is not going to work out in a single delivery, we can use the split load action. And again, if I select, you know what, maybe those leaf blowers won't fit on the same truck as everything else. Now I can use the split load action, and you can see that it's created a new delivery with a similar naming convention, just with the -001 at the end. So you can do this, you know, up to, well, almost 1,000 times. And now you can see that that's removed from my original delivery, and you'll see that the leaf blowers are now on their own separate delivery load that we can assign to a different truck and different driver. So why don't we go ahead and follow that process through. I'm going to go ahead and edit this. We'll set this to vehicle 1 and driver 1, driver A. Forgot what I'd put in there. You can also add assistance and additional equipment if you need a forklift on your flatbed truck or something like that. You can add those items in there. Now that it's ready to be driven to the location, I would release that, and now it's in the hands of the driver A. If I take a look at the other one, again, similar process. I would assign it to a vehicle and a driver, and we can do it directly from the actual screen, but there's also another visual resource scheduler, I believe, similar to what we have in service, that where you can drag and drop the loads onto a truck and a driver. But since we're focusing on what's new, I'm going to go ahead and just assign them, and then, oops, I forgot to release that. Release it. Okay, so now truck drivers will grab their loads and head off to their locations. If I go back to my roll center, I should now see 2 released loads. Okay, these are my 2 deliveries that we just talked about. And if we follow those through to completion, this is the part that the driver would do, right? He would come in and he would say, yes, I'm confirming all of these things I've dropped off at this particular location. There's my delivery address. We're taking these to Nakiska in beautiful Rocky Mountains in Alberta. And that driver would confirm delivery, that he's dropped off everything. Okay. Same with the other one now, where it's driver B, his load. He's got this 10 leaf blowers going to the same place. Nakiska, we have with the loads. Same idea. He would go in and confirm delivery. I should mention at this point that if you have it set up in rental management setup that you want to auto post on confirm, then we can automatically ship those units on the rental contract when the driver confirms the delivery. If that is not enabled, and it's not enabled in my system, then you would have to come in and actually post it. And it doesn't have to be the driver that does this. It can be somebody back in the office that has this ability. But the post basically triggers the shipment on the rental contract. Just just like if you were doing it for directly from the contract. And now if we go back to the rental contract 9, you'll see that I've got all of my units on rent, right? Quantity on rent, 1,110,1. Boom. So that's the first part. Okay. On the back end, and I should mention, I have default blank return date enabled in this particular database so that we can see what happens when I do a partial return. I'm going to go ahead and use one of the functions I love in standard rentals, which is called bulk returns, and I can set the return date. And so I'm going to set it to be today's date and click OK, and you'll see that it's automatically populated the return date and the request to pickup date. That's here. We can manage those dates independently. They don't have to be aligned. Out of the box, as soon as you update rental date, it will update requested pickup date. And again, that's also a setting. If you don't want that to happen, you can turn that off on rental management setup. I have that enabled currently, so it's automatically doing that. And then I'm going to go ahead and release for pickup. Okay, so we're going to say we're picking up everything. Now, if I look at the planning worksheet, okay, and again, I'm just doing this one contract for a single contract. You don't have to do it for a single contract at a time. You can do it for multiple contracts. I'm going to say, well, we have a bigger truck this time, so we're going to put everything onto a single load. Okay, and then we can go ahead and assign a driver and a vehicle. Now, I know this is the same vehicle as I used before, but we'll pretend it's bigger now. Okay, and then we release it. Now it's back in the hands of the driver to go out to the original rental location, pick up those pieces, and come back. Okay, and if we go ahead and look at our roll center again, we should now have an inbound load. There you go, release load. Okay, we can take a look at that pickup load and see what's on there. There's all of our units. Okay, what's our resources and our pickup address, right? Picking it up from Nakiska now and returning it back to the locations. When the driver gets on site and finds out that he doesn't actually have 10 leaf blowers to pick up, he can override that at this point. I'm going to say he's only picking up 6. And then the reason code is a user-defined list. You can put whatever the reason is for not picking up a load. Okay. And then when you confirm, you can see it's got the quantity not picked up equals to 4, right? So now if I confirm the pickup, okay, and then post, similar to the way we did on the dispatch side, this is going to trigger the return on the rental contract. So let's go back and take a look at the rental contract now. And we should see, oops, that's the wrong one. My bad. Okay, so now we should see that it's actually indeed split the backpacks based on what has been returned. And you can see that it's automatically blanked the return date on the lines of 4 that is still on rent. Right. It's imperative that we are able to continue the normal processing of what hasn't been returned on the invoicing worksheets. And so now we should be able to continue invoicing this as long as we need to. And that was pretty quick, wasn't it? I'm getting better at this, Megan. So that was what was on the agenda. So we showed the archiving, and actually let's go ahead and do the archive right from a rental contract. So I'm going to open up contract 10. I'm going to go ahead and release for delivery, open up the planning worksheet. There's my 1 unit. I'm going to go ahead and calculate loads per customer. Now it's created my delivery load. I can take a look at that and go, oh my goodness, right? For some reason, it's not going to go out the door anytime soon. I can go ahead and delete that, right? And then when I look at archived delivery, maybe I'm sub archive. dispatch. That's what. Using the wrong word. So there it is. It's in my list. And if I ever need to refer back to it, I can just open up that archive and take a look at it and say, okay, what was on that? What needs to go where and when? I should probably mention that there is the ability to override the shipping locations. This particular one was the default sell-to address. We have a number of different options for where it's actually being shipped to. You can use one of the alternate shipping addresses that is standard Business Central for customers. We can use a custom address, type in whatever you want. We can use a project address if we have this contract related to a project, right? By setting up the project number in the header, then we can use an address that's related to the project. And we also have something called site addresses that's available, and it's available under the dispatch management. In this particular case, my Nakiska site address is not related to any other entity that's in Business Central. That is just set up as a place that I often take things. Okay. And I think that is it. Do we have any questions?
Amazing. I think you covered that in lightning fast speed.
I am. Sometimes I talk too fast, and I apologize if I was going too quick. But
not at all. That was great. Thank you so much, Darren. All right. For everyone that is with us, we'd love if you would follow us on LinkedIn. We are sharing these webinars that we are doing on a monthly basis. We have our Rentals Essentials and our Toolbox Tuesdays that happen every single month, where we go through an in-depth view of one of the features within our product, both on the rentals and services side and on the BC Toolbox side. So with that, our next one that we have coming up is our prepayments and payment plans. We're just a couple weeks away from that, right into direction season. So be sure to join us for that one. We'll stay on the line for a couple minutes if anyone has any questions about dispatch. And if there's anything else that you need from us, please don't hesitate to ask.